Elder Lyra's last, fragmented thermopulse reached her, a desperate plea carried on a wave of pure, fading geothermal warmth. The ice glyph, protect Europa's frozen heart. Seek out Jax Frostbite Riker, a renegade cryotech and master of subglacial stealth, rumored to have a hidden, mobile laboratory in the shifting glaciers, a region of Europa's surface so unstable and treacherous. Even Thorn's heavy drilling platforms can't maintain a foothold. He salvaged one of the Zero Kelvin scientists' original cryoresonators, a device capable of amplifying and focusing a Guardian's true ice glyph resonance. The activation sequence is a silent prayer to the frozen void, a specific pattern of focused internal cryoenergy. Administrator Thorn's elite cryotroopers, their envirosuits gleaming with frost-resistant plating and bristling with cryoweaponry, blasted through the habitat's primary ice shield. Aurora, her ice glyph a conduit of raw, untamed cryoenergy, unleashed a devastating wave of focused, supercooled particles, buying her community precious seconds to scatter into the moon's labyrinthine ice tunnels. Before she activated a hidden, emergency subglacial river escape route, a one-way torrent through Europa's hidden, liquid water ocean, and vanished into the crackling, supercooled darkness as the cryotroopers overran the habitat. Aurora Icewalker Vane, a guardian of a frozen flame, a fugitive spark against a corporate blizzard, carried the fate of Europa, its last flickering embers of warmth and life within her own freezing hand. The shifting glaciers, a terrifying, beautiful landscape of constantly moving, groaning ice mountains and treacherous, hidden crevasses, was a place where only the desperate or the exceptionally skilled dared to venture. Jax Frostbite Riker's laboratory was a constantly moving, heavily insulated, geothermal-powered subglacial crawler, its entrance hidden beneath a seemingly impassable ice wall. He was a gaunt, almost spectral figure, his skin pale from a lifetime spent beneath the ice, his eyes hidden behind multi-layered, polarized goggles, his movements as silent and precise as falling snow. Aurora, emerging from the subglacial river, her suit crusted with fresh ice, her ice glyph pulsing erratically, projected the silent, focused prayer of internal cryoenergy, the activation sequence Lyra had described. Jax Riker materialized from an ice fog, a salvaged cryoresonator, a complex, crystalline, and superconducting device, already humming faintly in his thermogloved hands, its core crystal glowing with a sympathetic, impossibly cold light. "A true keeper of the frozen flame," Jax whispered, his voice a dry rustle like wind over ice. "Lyra, she warned me Thorn was finally making his move on the Absolute Zero Cipher. The long dark, it is almost upon us." Aurora nodded grimly, her breath misting in the frigid air, explaining Thorn's plan to use her ice glyph, or a tortured copy of its resonance, to initiate the total freeze protocol and seize control of Europa's core. Jax's goggled eyes narrowed. "The cryodampeners will try to shatter your connection to the glacial network to make your ice glyph a dead, inert crystal. But the Zero Kelvin scientists, they were masters of cold, of thermodynamics, of the moon's frozen heart. The Absolute Zero Cipher is not just a control system. It is a living, breathing cryothermodynamic network. Your unique ice glyph resonance, amplified by this cryoresonator, can trigger the Aurora Cryonis, a moon-wide geothermal energy redistribution and cryothermal recalibration. If we can broadcast your pure, focused ice glyph pattern through the moon's own internal geothermal vent network, make the glacial network itself sing your song of controlled, life-sustaining warmth, precisely as Thorn attempts his freeze during the long dark, when the moon's core is at its most vulnerable and receptive to external influence. It will create a harmonic thaw cascade, a feedback loop that will not only neutralize his cryodampeners and his crude, synthetic ice cores, but will also overload and obliterate any unauthorized systems attempting to tamper with the core's delicate cryothermodynamic balance. It's a song of defiance, a controlled aurora of pure, life-giving energy, reasserting the Zero Kelvin scientists' original design. Warning klaxons, their sound eerily muffled by the thick ice, shrieked from Jax's scavenged Solcorp console. Administrator Thorn's personal, heavily armed, deep ice command platform, the Glacial Drill, a monstrous machine bristling with cryo-cannons and thermal lances, had deployed a massive cryodampener field around the shifting glaciers, attempting to isolate Alara. "He's not waiting for the long dark's peak," Jax hissed, his hands already flying across the cryoresonator's delicate controls, carefully aligning its superconducting matrix with Alara's blazing ice glyph. "He's trying to force the freeze now, while the moon's geothermal heart is still relatively stable. We have one chance, Guardian. Unleash your fire, your ice. Let the heart of Europa sing through you." They raced against the encroaching cryodampener field, Alara channeling all her innate connection to the moon's core, all her community's ancestral knowledge of cold and warmth into the cryoresonator. As the long dark, a terrifying, beautiful wave of absolute cold and encroaching starlight deprivation began to sweep across Europa, Administrator Kalen Thorne, from the bridge of the glacial drill, initiated the total freeze protocol. His technicians, their faces pale with a mixture of corporate ambition and primal fear of the absolute cold, watched as vast, unimaginable energies began to drain uncontrollably from the moon's core, their readouts plummeting wildly into the catastrophic sub-zero. For a terrifying, breathless moment, Europa itself seemed to die, its surface cracking, its cryocoins threatening to destabilize and vanish into pure, inert crystal. But then, from the heart of the shifting glaciers, a wave of pure, incandescent, perfectly harmonized cryothermodynamic energy erupted, the Aurora Cryonis, the harmonic thaw cascade unleashed in a torrent of breathtaking, controlled geothermal warmth and light. Thorne's command platform screamed with alarms as its systems overloaded, its cryodampeners shattering like fragile glass, its thermal lances exploding in a chain reaction of catastrophic energy feedback. His counterfeit synthetic ice cores dissolved into supercooled, useless vapor. The glacial Satoshi network, the very heart of Europa, blazed with a triumphant, defiant aurora of blues and greens, its true song of balanced cryothermodynamic power resonating throughout the moon, stronger and more vibrant than ever before, its cryocoins secure and stable. Later, as the frozen, powerless wreck of the glacial drill was slowly crushed by the shifting ice, Alara and Jax stood in the relative warmth of his mobile laboratory, the cryoresonator now pulsing with a calm, steady rhythm. The ice glyph in Alara's glove had subsided to a gentle, reassuring glow. The zero-Kelvin scientists understood that true life persists not in the avoidance of cold, but in the controlled, harmonious embrace of immense energy, even in the deepest freeze, Jax whispered, a rare note of reverence in his icy voice. Alara knew this was but one thaw achieved, one battle won in an ongoing war for survival. Thorne, or Sol Corp itself, driven by insatiable corporate greed, would undoubtedly return. But for now, Europa and its life-giving cryocoins, its very soul remained free, its destiny still guided by the fierce, enduring warmth of its frozen heart and the courage of its last guardians. Alara Icewalker Vane, guardian of the glacial network, keeper of the Aurora Cryonis, knew her sacred duty was a vigil without end, a spark of defiance against the encroaching corporate blizzard. The absolute zero Cipher, the song of the ice moon, would continue to burn within her, a beacon of hope for the scattered communities of Europa.